Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amber. It's so good to have you here. I took a little bit of a break from making videos for about 2 months, and this video kind of just explains a little bit of why. And really the focus of the video is going to be more on what I did to kind of turn things around, give myself a little bit of a 180, and I wanted to share that with you today. I think so many people struggle with mental health kind of in silence these days. I know that it's coming out more and more people are talking about it, but I still think that there are so many people that just don't talk about it. And I think so many of us do, and even the people that you think like have their lives totally together, I think we all struggle in some way with some sort of like mental health. And especially with social media these days, I mean, you just see the highlight reel of everybody's lives. I just wanted to share with you some tips that I have for myself, that I use, and that I have used the past 2 months to kind of turn things around. Today I'm going to share with you 7 tips. Nothing is like super, crazy or like off the wall or like revolutionary or anything like that, but it's just things that really help me, and hopefully it can help you as well. So I am almost 37 weeks pregnant. I have a couple of days left and then I'll be 37 weeks on Wednesday. Today is Monday, so almost there. We're on the home stretch, but this pregnancy, this is my third, and it's just been very different this time around. I have 2 girls. This one's gonna be a little boy, and I don't know if it's the hormone difference or what, but things have just been a lot more chaotic for me. A lot more anxiety, maybe some slight perinatal depression, which I've never struggled with in the past with my others. I'm really feeling a lot more motivated these days to get things done and to make these videos for you guys. And I just thought that coming back after, not making a video for 2 months, that this was the video that I needed to start with, and I hope that it resonates with somebody out there that's watching this. And without further ado, we'll just kind of jump into the tips that I've used and have really helped me, turn things around. Okay, so tip number 1 that I think is just paramount for all of this is to just recognize your feelings and okay your feelings. I think if you're watching this, you're either just interested or you're actually struggling a little bit like I was. And I think the first step is just to recognize those feelings. And if you're watching this and you are struggling, you've probably already mastered that first step. So kudos to you. For me, it was a lot of just anxiety, being busy with 2 young toddlers, another one on the way. For me, it's been a little overwhelming, and I think that that's okay to acknowledge and recognize. So whatever it is for you, just sitting with yourself, trying to figure out what exactly it is that's causing you to feel the way that you're feeling. Are you feeling more anxiety? Are you feeling more depression? It was more of a struggle than it usually is for me, and I didn't like that. I didn't like feeling that way, and I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, this had enough. I want to make a change. I don't want to just keep wallowing in this, low point. So I really just kind of sat with myself, realized what was causing those feelings for me, and just recognizing that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel anxious, but to recognize that, to be able to make some changes, to kind of give yourself that 180, I think is super, super important. Finding somebody to talk to, whether that's your spouse or a friend or family, and if you don't feel comfortable really talking with anybody that find a therapist or something. There's so many like telehealth options these days that you can talk to somebody online, that is a medical professional that you can just chat with. Even just talking it out sometimes is so therapeutic instead of just pushing it down. I will say I'm one of the types of people that I don't really talk about how I'm feeling a lot. I kind of just like keep it to myself, and I think that eventually really catches up with you. It caught up with me, that's for sure. Finding somebody that you feel safe to talk to about it, recognizing how you're feeling, and just being okay with that, and finding steps to move forward and to give yourself that 180 that you deserve. All right, and step 2 is just spending time with God. I really put that on the back burner for way too long, honestly. I used to be so good about doing like a daily devotion. I'd spend daily time in prayer in the mornings. Kind of just fell off the bandwagon, and it's kind of just continued, unfortunately. And for me personally, spending time with God, reading His Word, spending time in devotion and prayer, and even just talking to Him about my struggles, it's just made such a huge difference. That for me personally just takes like a huge weight off of my shoulders. If I'm feeling really overwhelmed in life and I just spend time, sharing that with God, I really just feel that weight lifting off of my shoulders. And I notice a tremendous difference in my mental health and my patience with my kids, like all of the things, if I can carve out time with Him in the beginning. And for me, it used to be just like a quiet time, which was wonderful, but now with 2 toddlers, it's not really always that way, especially on the weekends when they're home. It's not really quiet time like you would think of, which is fine. I think that just being intentional with the time that you're spending with God in devotion and prayer, all of that, I think that He blesses that time even if you have, little ones running around or your attention is divided. Spending time in devotion, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. My time is usually pretty short, maybe like 10 minutes or so, but even so, I think it just really helps to start my day on the right foot. I personally have been using the Holy Bible app, and they have a ton of devotions in there. Some of them range from like a 5-day devotion, 7 days, some are 14 days. It kind of just varies. They have different topics based on what you are experiencing. I chose a few the past couple months that I've been reading through that have been about, mental health, anxiety, depression, those kinds of things. And just reading the devotion and the scriptures, it kind of really just helped to lift you out of that and give you a different perspective on life. It really can just help shape the day. Prayer especially, even if I'm feeling like really overwhelmed, like, if I'm just driving in the car or whatever it is, if I'm feeling this sense of like what is going on or whatever the case may be, I'll just share it with God, praying in the car, praying while I'm washing dishes. Another part of all of this is just spending time in gratitude. With my prayer that I do after my devotion each day, I'll spend time just thanking God first, before sharing my burdens and my struggles and my requests to Him. I always try to start with gratitude of the things that I'm super thankful for, my family, our health, roof over our head, just the luxuries that we, I think, take for granted, talking it out and hashing it out with Him, that's what He's there for. For me, that's one of the biggest things that's really just helped to transform my thoughts and my mind. All right, and number 3 for me is just to put the phone down. Not starting your phone with scrolling Instagram right away first thing in the morning, or even scrolling the news. Instagram, you're seeing the highlight reel of people's lives. It's great to catch up with people, and I do love Instagram for certain things. Like I pointed out in point number 2 was just to spend time with God first, before really diving into your phone and like work emails and Instagram, catching up with people, and the news to see what's going on in the world. And while there are good things going on in the world, there's a lot of not great things, and to fill your mind with that kind of stuff first thing in the morning, for me personally, it's just not healthy for me. I need to start my day on the right foot, on a positive note, And I'm sure that a lot of people can resonate with that. So for me, it's just putting the phone down, not picking it up first thing in the morning, but also too, just being super aware throughout the day of how much I'm actually picking up my phone. There for a while, the first month or so, I actually deleted the Instagram app from my home screen. I didn't delete it altogether, but I did delete it from my home screen. And I was honestly really baffling how many times I would pick up my phone, scroll to the page where my Instagram icon usually was, and try to go into Instagram and press it and realize oh, I forgot that I deleted it. And for the first week or two, I did that a lot throughout the day, and it just made me aware of how much am I actually picking this up just to scroll mindlessly. There's so many, super cliche, but life is so short, to spend time just mindlessly scrolling. I think that Instagram is a great place. I think that has its time and its place in your day, or in my day at least, but to just constantly be picking it up throughout the day just because you're bored. I found that it wasn't super healthy for me. I found better ways to occupy my time versus just scrolling through Instagram just because for a few minutes. So I think just being aware of how much you're actually picking up your phone to engage in social media and those kinds of things. And along that same note is being aware of what and who you're following. What we fill our minds with really makes an impact. Are you following accounts that really lift you up, are motivating, are positive, or are you following accounts that kind of just make you feel like crap about yourself? And if I am going to be on Instagram or social media, whatever your, pleasure is, if you will, to just be sure that you're filling yourself with positivity, things that are going to lift you up and not bring you down. All right, tip number 4 is get moving, physical exercise. There for those 2 months or, the first month or so, I was feeling super unmotivated. I didn't want to get out and go for my daily walk. Schedule the time to make time for yourself for physical activity each day. I try to do something physical most days. Sometimes on the weekend, one day I might not do anything, but I try to get out for a daily walk. Typically, pre-pregnancy, I was really into working out and all of that stuff. This pregnancy, I just haven't felt as great physically or mentally. So I've been sticking more with walks and yoga and stretching and that kind of thing. Really just carving out the time and making myself do it. Even if I'm not motivated to do it, once you get started, you feel better. You get those endorphins flowing, and it just really helps to boost your mood. Make it a priority to get your body moving, whatever that is for you that you enjoy. For me, like I said, right now is just stretching, yoga, walking, kind of low key. But I will say I am so excited to have this baby, get cleared, and start actually working out. I personally love to do weights. It just makes me feel better. It makes me feel strong. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Help to boost my mood even more. But be sure to just carve out that time each day to get your body moving, whatever that looks like for you. Get something that you actually enjoy doing, get those endorphins flowing, get that positivity going, and really just help contribute to this 180 that we're trying to accomplish here. All right, next is tip number 5, and that is just to fill your body with healthy food. Like I said in the beginning, these tips are not revolutionary, but I know for myself at least, when I'm in a funk, I want to eat just junk, in a funk, want to eat junk. And it's just true, I want to eat the processed food. I want to eat the sweets. I want to eat the takeout. I don't feel like cooking, all of those things. Filling your body with nutrition really just helps to set the tone. At least for me, it does. First is just obviously filling my body with nutrient-dense food. Focusing on fruits and vegetables, not as many processed foods, being sure that my meals are well balanced with proteins, carbs, and fats really helps. I've noticed when I eat a lot more healthy fats and not as many refined carbs and stuff like that, that my mental state is a lot better. So, like avocados, coconut oil, nuts, those kinds of things really just help to boost my mood. So really just filling your body with nutrient-dense food, increasing your water intake, make sure that you're nice and hydrated, and then whatever supplements it is that you take, or maybe you don't take, but maybe you should be taking. For me, it's just a daily multivitamin. I've been using the Ritual multivitamins lately, and I actually really like them. I just started using them. I use that and their probiotic as well. This is not sponsored, it's just something that I've started doing. I know that a lot of people have shared about using them, and I've really enjoyed it. And what I like about it is it actually has a really good amount of like vitamin D and omegas in the vitamin. So you take 2 a day, but it's kind of like an all-encompassing thing. I don't have to take a multivitamin and an omega-3 and a vitamin D and like all of the things. Nutrient-dense food, water, supplements, just making sure that you're filling your body with the good stuff and not the junk. For me, I just feel so much better. I feel lighter, I feel more motivated, positive when I'm eating and fueling myself with nutrient-dense food. All right, tip number 6 for me, and this is a big one, is a tidy space. For me, a clear space equals a clear mind. If I have clutter laying around, it just creates clutter in my mind. So really just being aware of that, making time to just pick up things each day. One thing that I'm trying to be a lot better about, and I'm not great at, but I'm working on it, is to touch things one time. So instead of, moving whatever it is to another place, put it back in its home. That way you're not just having things laying around. So touching things one time and not just setting them in random places, which I will say, and my husband will probably agree, I'm not the greatest at, but I am working on it. But spending the time to just tidy up your space, whether that's a daily tidy or whatever it may be. Maybe your home is just a wreck because of whatever stage of life you're in, and I totally get that. Set aside a time, schedule the time to reset your home. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. You don't have to clean top to bottom or anything like that, but maybe it's like a 2-hour reset, or maybe you just think you need like an hour reset. Set a timer, put on a podcast, put on some positive music, and just get things put away where they belong. And I think you'll find that having a clear space, a tidy home really just helps to create that clear space and tidiness in your mind as well. And just makes you feel so much lighter. I know for me, when I have clutter laying around, I just feel bogged down. And last but not least, tip number 7 is to just do something for yourself. Do something that brings you joy. And I think it's important to do this each day, but I really strive to kind of do something for myself on a bigger note each week. Little things throughout the day, whatever that might be. Maybe it's spending time reading a book. Maybe it's listening to a motivating podcast. Maybe it's, getting in that exercise. Maybe that's really what brings you joy each day. Make time for that. It's extremely important. Spending time doing self-care for me is one of the ways that I just feel most fueled. I love to go get pedicures. I love to go get massages. Just really resetting my body physically just feels so good to me. So I like to spend some time on, kind of my long shower days. You have your quick shower days, your medium shower days, and your long shower days, or at least I do. And so on my long shower days, we exfoliate, wash the hair, shave, moisturize, maybe do a face mask, like spend some time really doing your skincare, like whatever it is for you that sparks joy and fills your cup, make sure that you're making time for that. One of the, sayings that I love is you can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure that you're filling your own, especially if you have little ones or a family. And even if you don't, I think it's super important, but especially if you're trying to take care of others in a household as well, I think that it's so important to, like I said, fill your cup. You can't pour from an empty one. Well, that's all my tips for today. Those are the things that I've been focusing on the past 2 months to really give myself this 180 that I've been talking about. And it's really helped. I hope that you took something away from this, that it's given you the motivation to maybe implement some of these things for yourself. And like I said, I think that so many people have some sort of mental health struggle, whether it's minor or major. I know that there's a big variance there, but I think that everybody struggles in one way or another. So I'm going to just be super cognizant moving forward about making sure that I'm keeping this routine, especially with another one on the way. I want to be sure that my mental state is in a good place. But I think hitting reset and just implementing these tips for me have been life-changing, and I hope that it is for you as well. If you liked this video, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell. It really helps to support my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.